on a Caritas retreat a year before with my best friend Tam, and Father Tree asked me to help out on the following retreats. And the particular retreat that I met Lan at, he wanted me to speak on this topic called longing to love and be loved. And I didn't think that I was a good candidate for it because I didn't feel like I ever experienced love in the sense of a relationship love, like romantically.
I was like, you know what? I'm sick of what I was doing and I need to find something to fix my life, whatever that means. I ended up going to this retreat called Caritas.
He drove up in his Xterra all aggressively and looked really angry. And everyone was like, who the heck is that guy? I hope he's not here to carpool with us to the retreat. He got out of the car all buff and fit and really angry looking. He approached us with like a huge attitude. I'm like, this guy is not gonna go on with us. So we closed our car and didn't let him go with our car.
Yeah, he was a little, he was really too intense for me. He worked out all the time, you know, he had a shaved head.
I never thought he and I would ever be friends. He was the crude, rude, put his foot in his mouth type guy. He was super athletic and super, you know, he was the man's man. He was very blunt about everything.
But we didn't get together until afterwards, until we formed a small group and we went on a trip to Yosemite. And we happened to be paired up with me and this guy named Jonathan, and my sister and Len got matched up. And so the four of us hiked up to Yosemite, and then we hiked back down.
And on that trip, lo and behold, he drew my name, and so we were buddies on this trip. And on this trip, he was very much like a woodpecker. He wouldn't let us stop for breaks, and we ended up finishing that trip, or the hike, I think in 2 or 4 hours, earlier than everybody else.
And it was after the retreat that we really started to hang out here and there, and I saw a huge change in him. Thitam was one of the speakers, and I never thought the two would ever even talk, nonetheless get married, so that was a great little surprise, and really shows how God works in a mysterious way.
And there's this one time when we were cooking around the island, and Lan is called blunt because he's so blunt, and he puts his foot in his mouth all the time. He doesn't have a filter. He just says what's on his mind and gets himself in trouble a lot of the times, actually. And he comes up to me, he's like, "Can I tell you something?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, tell me." He's like, "If you worked out, you would look great." And I go, "I do work out."
Man, you look so good now. Imagine you work out, you look even better. That's what I was trying to say, but it came off like she worked out. It came out she didn't look good. It came out wrong. Oh man, foot in your mouth. That's my life story with her and throughout life, you know.
I've always heard things about him until I really met him. They started having dinners together, running, and I always questioned if he liked her, and she was always in denial, saying no, 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 and I'm thinking, wait, but they've been hanging out every day, running together, cooking, and he cleans, so I knew there was something more after that.
Thitam is my woman, man. She's my woman. And I was like, wow, are you serious? Hey, I know from the bottom of my heart, she's the one for me. And I was surprised because I didn't see it coming. But you know what? He knew for some reason or another that she was the one. I'm telling you, probably no one believed it.
I think I was always thinking about her. Her image always came up when I prayed and when I have free time to journal. It's always her.
She was just telling me that he was a friend, a running buddy, and whatnot. But once, as time went by, a deeper relationship followed from that, and she had a more softer tone talking about Lan, where she was starting to fall for him.
Them together, with knowing Thitam who she already was, and growing to know Lan and who he actually is versus his crudeness. They are very generous-hearted people, and they're very kind-hearted people, and you know, they're always willing to give to others, which is, you know, one of the amazing things, or one of the amazing parts of their relationship is how much they're willing to give to those around them.
When they decided to be more than just friends. I didn't see them at the house as often together.
When we got a little more serious, when he would come over, he would have to wait for my sister to go to sleep before he can come over.
If I knew a word hatred, like a little stronger word than hatred, I would use it. But oh my God. During that time, I think I had to come here to her house, right? And that was the most uncomfortable time when you walk in the house and the sister gave you that stare, like.
Apparently, he would drop to the floor very quickly and crawl through the house on his stomach and tiptoe up to the stairs so that he would wake me up in the middle of the night. This was happening for a period of time that I had no idea about. So they say that love is irrational, and clearly Lan was very irrational in this situation. But even though irrational, it just shows how much he loves her and how much he's willing to put his life on the line for love. So certainly a blessing to have him, and just certainly to see how happy my sister is and to see how much in love she is with Lan.
But when my father got sick, he really took the time out to be with me and to go to all the doctor's appointments and was just there for me, you know. And I don't know, I can never explain how I like who he is and what he's meant to me. He even flew to Vietnam to be with me, to help my father. I remember my father was hungry and my father had a difficult time eating, and my dad wanted a burrito. So my Lan was working at home with me, got up and just flew to the door and went to get the burrito. And after he left, my dad looked at me and started crying. I go, "What's wrong?" And he said, "I don't even know this guy," but he was like, he'll do anything for me. And I kind of knew at that moment that maybe this is the guy for me.
Me and my good friend Jonathan Joyful, we scoped. We drove to the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Beach. We scoped out the place. We figured out this is one gazebo I want to propose. I'm like, yeah, that's where I want.
And I remember that day because we were packing that day, and he asked me if he can wear a particular pair of shorts.
Because you can put in the pants and people won't notice. And I'm like, "Babe, I want to wear this." She's like, "No." I'm like, "What?" "I want you to wear the tight pants, wear tight." You know, it shows all the, shows you.
And I remember when I told him that, he looked kind of sad, and I didn't know why. You know, I just kind of blew it off like, okay, it's just him being Lan again.
So I couldn't put the ring in, so I had to put the ring in the bag. So, and I was nervous. I was like, man, I spent a lot of money on this ring. I put it in the bag, I was checking it.
He told me that he wanted to take me to the restaurant where there was an ocean view. You know, he was a little quiet, and we were really affectionate. So I kind of put my arm in his leg. I remember him pushing my hand away.
I'm like, I want her to touch the ring. I'm like, "Babe, what are you doing?" So I had to get a couple of shots in. I had at least 3-4 stiff drinks. And
he said he wanted to take a walk on the beach, which I thought was pretty normal because we do that quite often. But he did excuse himself to the restroom, and I was kind of waiting for him to come out.
So I went to the bathroom, text all my friends, like, "Dude, I'm pretty buzzed now. Wish me luck. I'm gonna propose." So we had to propose. So I had to walk it off. So we rode down the hill, and the gazebo was on the left. That's where I wanted to go. She's like, no. Like, "Hey, let's go left. It's a nice place." So no, let's go to the right. I was like, "Oh man, my plan is screwed. I have no more plan. I don't know what to do no more." We walked 20 minutes. I was running out. I was running out things to tell her. I told her, "Hey, go on the rocks. Go take a picture." And then somehow he drops his phone in the sand. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's his baby." He dropped it in the sand. And so, I thought he was taking some time to kind of clean it off and everything like that. So I kind of turned and looked at the sky, kind of enjoying the view. And so when I turned around, he was already on his knees, and he said, "Will you marry me?" And so of course I said yes. And when I went down my knees and whipped it out, she saw a sparkle. She's like, "I do." It's like, "Yes, I love you." I'm like, "What? I didn't tell you yet." Afterwards,
we walked into a room which also had an ocean view, and he set this beautiful display with my sister with a key with an acronym with my name, and he wrote little lines of what he felt about me. And then he had my sister do flowers in the bedroom and arrangement of flowers in the bathroom and cupcakes. And afterwards, for dinner, we went to the restaurant, and he surprised me with all of our friends there, all of my close friends. So that was really nice to have a balance of us being alone, and then we also had the opportunity to celebrate with my friends at the restaurant as well. So it was really sweet. God had a huge hand in cultivating us, sowing us, and loving us with His grace. And I just feel that we're so blessed to be rooted and grounded in His love through many different faces, like our friends and family who really were there for us and to support us, so that we're able to grow and flourish in this lifetime.
I'm excited. This is my wife.
That's good. I'm excited to call you my husband.
Yeah, this is Mrs. Thitam Wing.
And this is Mr. Phone.
No. So I'm
We had a
excited.
kiss.
I'm excited. Let everybody know that this is the person I'm gonna die with, grow with, have kids with.
And this is the man that I waited for my entire life.
Love you.
I love you too.